don't know everything. It is okay. We are all humans, right? But explain your thought process. That is important. If you don't know, it is okay, but it is important to work on what you are thinking, how you're approaching that particular problem. Okay. Then next we have is the behavioral interview. So this is the human element. So this round help employers understand how you act in real life work situations, especially under pressure or in a team or during conflict. Right? So they want to assess your emotional intelligence and your interpersonal skills. They want to understand your past behavior, or they want to predict of your future performance. So that is why they want to know how you performed earlier, and they want to check how you align with the team dynamics, right? So there, though we are going to discuss this again in detail, very much in detail later on, but there is a method called a STAR method: situation, task, action, result. STAR method. Okay, so we use the STAR method to answer. So you first discuss the situation, then you talk about the task, then you work on the action. What action did you take? And then what was the result? So result should be quantifiable result. Okay, so this is what right now, because we are working only on the introduction part. So today only I'm going to discuss that. But later on in upcoming modules, we are going to work on the STAR method in detail. Okay, then here they are going to work. They're going to ask some scenario based questions like, tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult teammate, right? Or describe a situation when you had to meet a tight deadline. Okay, or how did you handle failure or criticism? Right? Here, use real life examples. That is the tip. Okay, even if they are from your college or maybe your internships or some projects that you did earlier, it's okay. Those experiences, they matter the most. Doesn't matter at what level. Reflect on the challenges and how you overcame them. And show accountability, learning, and your problem solving mindset. Very important. Okay, so these things, approach each round with preparation, clarity, confidence. Very important. These three things: preparation, clarity, and confidence. Even if you don't know, and if you have these three skills, don't worry, nobody is going to beat you on them. Right? And you will be one step closer to landing the role. Okay, then we have online interviews also. So online is same what we have, is just that it is on the online platform, on maybe your Google Meet, Teams, or Zoom platforms are there, Skype is there. So nowadays many companies, they meet on these channels, these platforms, and they take interviews there. Okay, then you have panel interviews. Panel interviews are where usually in an interview you have one-on-one type of interview, right? But panel interviews are where you have more than 2-3 people, or maybe 4. Sometimes you have 7 people. So mostly government companies, government institutes, they have these type of government jobs. At that time they have panel interviews. Right? So you have to maintain eye contact with everyone. You have to, whenever you're answering, you have to address everyone. So those are few things we will discuss that also. Okay. Then we have one-on-one interviews. So it is like something like, you're actually talking to the other person. So it is very direct, only to one person. So what usually the interviews are one-on-one. Okay, rarely it happens, or rather, sometimes what you have in fifth round is there. So they have, founders, maybe if they have co-founders, so they both want to, or 3, 4, or 5 co-founders are there. They all want to meet you. Then, of course, it is going to be kind of a panel interview. Okay, otherwise, it is usually one-on-one times. Okay, then we have something, called as self-introduction practice. It is very, very important whenever you are working on the self introduction. Okay, so self introduction is usually asked in every type of interview. Okay, so it is doesn't matter if you're doing an HR interview, behavior interview, online or one-on-one, or maybe panel interviews. Most of the time, every person want to know about you, what you want to say, which is not there in your resume. That you have to remember. Okay, so when we talk about the how to work on this particular type of self introduction, that is when you want to talk about yourself. Okay, so that is tell me about yourself. That is self introduction. Okay, so this is kind of your elevator pitch in an interview. Very, very important. So the aim is to give a crisp, relevant, and engaging summary of your professional journey. Okay, so the best answer that we usually follow is there is a framework that we follow: present, past, future formula. Present, past, future. Okay, so start with your current role, current experience, okay, current core skills, and keep it concise and role relevant. Very important. Okay, then you go to the past. Give a brief background of your education, of your key professional experiences. Then highlight your relevant achievements or some skills that set you apart. Okay, then work on your future. So present is where you're talking about yourself right now, what experience, what roles you have. Past is what? You are giving a brief understanding about your background, education, your some professional, key professional, relevant professional experience. Okay. Then talk about something that you want to, that you see yourself, that is future. So why are you interested in this role? What you aim to achieve? Okay, and what you aim to contribute. Okay, it should show, it should focus on your enthusiasm for the role. Okay, so some tips here, we will dive deep into it, don't worry, in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so first is keep it for 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. Here, if you're keeping it within that time slot, that is 1 to 2 minutes, it is long enough to show depth, short enough to keep attention. If you are stretching it above that, it will get boring. Okay, make it role specific. Tailor your response to the job description, JD. Right, you might have already worked on the JD, so work accordingly. Okay, add a personal touch, very, very important. Work on your quick hobby or some interest, some interest that is related to the role, to the job. Okay, that will make you memorable in the mind of the hiring manager. Why? Because in a day, a hiring manager might be interviewing some 7, 8, or maybe 10, 15 people. You don't know. But you want to be a person who wants to be, in the mind of the hiring manager. Okay? Practice your about this self-introduction pitch. Practice it. Do not memorize it. Okay? Sound natural, not robotic. Right? And please, your non-verbal cues, they matters the most. Smile, make eye contact, okay, and speak confidently. Pause wherever you want, make some voice modulations. All those things are very important. But we are going to discuss about all those things in detail. Okay, so if what should I say? You have to see, you have to be very, very, you have to do your homework. So we are going to discuss about some questions, some scenarios that is usually the scene of almost every type of interview. Okay, not today, in our upcoming sessions, because when we will be discussing about different types of interviews. Okay, like HR interview, behavior, technical, So there, according to the the environment, the scenario. So that time we will work on these type of questions. Okay. So here, whenever you are working on, why companies ask such questions, because they want to identify your unique value, right? So they want to know what makes you stand out. And that is what you have to do. You have to show. Interview is what? It's like a selling pitch. You're going to sell yourself. Okay. So you have to make sure that you have to show them that you are the best fit for the job. Okay, of course, in the meanwhile, you also have to check that whether I will be whether I will be comfortable there or not. If you think you are not going to be comfortable, this is not the correct organization for you, then don't go ahead with the interview. Okay, many people make this mistake, right? So stick to understanding the organization for yourself also, and as well as if you think that you are a good fit, then of course go ahead and give your best out there. Okay, so here I'm sharing a sample self introduction here. Okay, do read it. And there are we will work on the self introduction for the freshers also, for experienced as well. Okay, that is very, very important. If you have 4 years of experience in XYZ, work, or say 10 years, or maybe you're a fresher. So all those type of questions we are going to discuss. Okay. So now, when we talk about first impressions. So the first impressions are not just about the first few seconds. Okay, so they play a very crucial role in shaping the outcome of an interview. Okay, so in most cases, the interviewer forms an opinion about the candidate within the first few seconds. Rather, let's not make it seconds, it's basically minutes. Okay, it takes the person also to understand you. So first few minutes of your interaction. Sometimes they even understand you completely even before the formal conversation starts. Okay, so these early moments set the tone for the rest of the interview, and they can strongly influence the interviewer's perception of a candidate's competence, their confidence, and their cultural fit. Okay, so we human beings, we are naturally wired to make quick judgments. So even we also, when we see a person for the first time, how they are dressed, we try to understand that person, or we try to assess that person, the way that the person is dressed, the way that person looks like, okay, where the person's body language is. So in an interview, the instinctive assessment often resolves around our appearance, about our body language, and the attitude that we have. Okay, so the psychologists basically refer this to the halo effect. Okay, so where one positive or one negative trait can overshadow the other aspects of the person's performance. So that is why, we always think about that tomorrow I have an interview, so I have to dress properly. You want to polish your shoes. You want to wear the best, professional attire. You want to look your best. Why? Because this is the main reason. Okay, so for instance, a confident smile and a professional posture can make the interviewer subconsciously assume that the candidate is capable and dependable. While the nervous gestures, like, fidgeting, like your slouched shoulder, or maybe, you're tapping your toes continuously. So, or disorganization, they can create doubt even before the technical or different interview begins. Okay, so your appearance, this is often the first factor that influences an interview's perception. So dress appropriately for the company's culture, formal for corporate roles, smart casuals for creative industries. Okay, this reflects a candidate's understanding of the organization's environment. Okay, and shows respect for the opportunity. Okay, work on your non-verbal communication. Your body language often speaks louder than your words. 70% of our body language is the one that will speak about us. So non-verbal cues such as eye contact, handshake, your facial expressions, your smile, they play a major role in forming the initial impression. Okay? And the first few seconds of the conversation, that is the greeting and initial exchange, often they often last less than a minute or something, right? So they can be quite decisive. So polite good morning with a calm tone, clear articulation, and a genuine enthusiasm can immediately build a connection with the interviewer. Okay, and similarly, the way you thank the interviewer for the opportunity and then you introduce yourself, so they can display your humility and your confidence simultaneously. Okay, then your communication and energy, that is the tone of your voice. Speak clearly, okay, and in a moderate pace. Do not be too fast. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing, or too slow. Okay, fine, I will tell you about myself. So these things can become quite, negative for you. Okay, your energy level. Show genuine excitement, right? Do and avoid appearing over enthusiastic or nervous. That is not needed. Okay, active listening. Demonstrate respect and attentiveness. Okay, this strengthens. Active listening is very, very important. Many people think active listening is not important, but it is actually the most important, non-verbal cue. So this strengthens your impression about that you're serious about that you're serious, about this role, about the conversation. Okay, then your consistency throughout the interview, very important. So while first impressions happen quite quickly, but maintaining that impression is equally important. So candidates must ensure consistency between, what they show initially and how they behave throughout. That is staying calm, courteous, and professional even under pressure. So this basically shows your emotional intelligence, your reliability, right? Traits that these are the two traits, emotional intelligence and reliability, that these traits, these skills, the employers, they value really highly, right? So whenever you're working on your first impression, so there are a few things that I will tell you about. First is arrive early. Okay, if it is an online interview, then join early, at least 10-15 minutes early. Okay, be polite to everyone you interact with. Okay, including any type of staff, reception staff, okay, or the person who is handling the interview process, everyone. Okay, prepare an engaging self-introduction. Okay, exhibit confidence through posture, tone, and eye contact. Okay, show genuine curiosity about the company and about the role also. And end the interview with gratitude, with enthusiasm, with respect for the opportunity. Right? So your first impressions, they are about how effectively you set the tone for the entire interaction. Right? So a well prepared, confident, and respectful candidate leaves a lasting mark that might go beyond qualifications and experiences. Okay, so while skills can be trained, okay, attitude and your presence, the presence that you display in those first moments. So they are like the deciding factor between the selection and the rejection. Okay, so that is why today I wanted to discuss about the first impression as well. All right, so okay, so we are open for, I'm so sorry. So we are open for the question and answers today. Anyone, if you have any question, please let me know. Yes. Any doubts, if you have, please let me know. If you cannot unmute yourself, please write it in the chat. That will be quite helpful for me also. No questions? No questions? Rashmi, anything from your end? Rajdeep, then we have Krishna and Subrajit. Any questions? Anyone? No? Okay, thank you so much, Subrajit, for replying. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I would please request everyone to leave. Okay, thank you, Krishna. I think quite a few of you joined late. Okay, but don't worry, you can watch these recordings again. I think it might be there in your portal. Please check it or get in touch with your relationship manager or your counselor. They will help you out there. Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, so you can all leave. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye and take care. And we will meet next week, same day, but the timing will be different around 3 to 4 p.m. You will get the notification. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you.